Okay, so today we're going to talk about my Unbound Planner. It is a new company that came out in 2018 with this planner design, and I ran across them maybe end of November, early December of 2018, and so far I'm in love with it. I've been a bullet journaler for about 5 years, and I hit a season of my life where I needed to not have to create my space, my layouts. I needed something that would function and be there and ready for me. I can just fill in the information, but I still wanted to keep my habits that I had developed as a bullet journaler. And so I was hopeful that this would be a good solution. And I will explain to you why I think it is in just a moment. Okay, so notice that it's a hardbound book style, so it's sturdy. It puts up with a lot. It goes with me pretty much everywhere that I go, and it's taken quite a beating so far, and we are in the end of March, but it looks great still. So that's a plus for me. The paper is really nice and thick. It is sturdy. I don't even know. It's a heavier weight paper. I don't know the technical terms. And then you have this. This is beautiful. This is, they give you actually 4 years of advanced calendaring. So you can look forward to dates that may be coming up as potential activity at a glance. You don't have to go, Google it. You have it right there at the ready. Then this is the beauty. I think this is what actually is amazing about the Unbound Planner, is that before you ever dive into the planning, you actually start by some gentle self-reflection. And obviously I didn't finish all of it, but they really ask you to drill down into what it is you'd like to see for your year, how you want to spend your time, how you're spending it currently versus what you'd like to see happen, and gently encourages you toward this as a goal. So the self-reflection pages, it's to 2-pager, and it asks questions such as, imagine today being your 100th birthday party, and your friends and family stand up to give toasts about you. What would they say about you? So you fill that in, and then the next prompt is, do their words reflect the life you hope to live? What are you proud of? What don't they say that you wish they would? And what would you love to do? And think about the activities, big and small, that make you feel more energized, more relaxed, more fulfilled. And then what type of things deplete you? Notice that I kind of went right down to that because I've just been in a season of feeling very depleted. And so that was an easy one to fill out compared to the middle ones for me. And over here, they ask you to name one fear you want to overcome this year, and name one big dream you want to act on this year. And then, of course, how you fill out your time, your current spending time, and what you'd like to see your week consist of. And then rating yourself. I love that they start you off with an honest assessment of where you are before you dive into the future. And then the next spread is goal brainstorming. They actually walk you through steps. By no means do you have to, follow these steps, but they are there to help you walk through the steps of successful goal setting. So I really appreciated that. I feel like I've got this under... I know the steps. I know the mechanics of it a little bit well, but it was still interesting to read through their prompts and their suggestions. I took directly from how I used to set up my bullet journal and just followed that format where I had a 1-year page where I just kind of threw a whole bunch of stuff down. And that is partly what they also encourage, is just throwing down all the things you want to accomplish in 2019. Big, small, doesn't matter. Don't eliminate at this point. Just get it down on paper. And if you'll notice, there's all the different color codings. I went back and color coded each of them because you'll see in just a minute how I then set up my goals is by categories of my life, and mainly by roles that I fulfill in my life. And so those colors coordinate with what I started out with, my throw up page, my brainstorming session. And so then I organized them into, I wrote mission statements for each of the roles that I fulfill, and then goals within those roles, and laid them out and color coded them and filled this whole thing up. You can set this goal brainstorm page up any way you want, but this is something that I really grew to love in my bullet journal that I really look forward to around December of each year as I looked forward to the new year. And so I wanted to carry that over, and I'm so glad the Unbound Planner had room to do this. And then you go through a timeline. So you take the goals that you have brainstormed here and here, and you then plug them into, are they repeating monthly? Are they repeating weekly? And are they daily habits that you want to establish or continue on? And if they don't fit in those categories, maybe they're one-off goals, they're yearly goals, then they go on a list here with the ability to mark off when you complete them. So these pages come back. They don't just sit here and hope that they get referred to throughout the year. As you'll see in just a moment, each weekly spread actually encourages you, gently reminds you to go back and look to these pages to start plugging in the steps that you want to take to reach your goals that you've listed out. And then the next thing is future goals, next year, 5 years, and any note-taking you want to add. Obviously, I haven't filled that out completely. And then my year at a glance. And this is a way to, mark any kind of dates that are coming up that you want to remember. I put birthdays. Again, I haven't filled it completely out, but very helpful. I used to create this by hand in my bullet journal, so I was very thankful to not have to do that this year. And then they have about, I want to say maybe 10 or 12 of these, and I haven't quite figured out what I want to use them for, but I'm getting ready to, so I'm pretty excited. They are project plan goal breakdown sheets. So whether they are, you have specific projects that you want to start working on, you want to identify a start and finish time, the title of your project or your goal, and same thing. So that's what you have here. It's just this workout. So you don't have to store it all in your brain. You can just kind of throw up on here and make an action plan for your project or goal and break it down. So there's just this nice dot grid section that you can, I've seen people make design of something they're going to build. You can just make all kinds of notes there, as well as milestones that you want to complete and complete it by. So that's nice. So I'm looking forward to diving in and using that more. I wanted to wait and use these until I had a purposeful plan for them. But I'm getting there, so I'm excited. And then what you'll see is you come to a monthly overview. So you have your calendar, you have a box to put this month's focus of what you want to focus in on, the list of monthly goals or things to do. And the very first one is review yearly goals, add repeating and other goals for this month. So if you even forget that you have these pages in the front, they will gently remind you, encourage you to flip back and look and add some of those to this month. So you don't get to the end of January and think, what happened? I haven't worked on anything I wanted to do. There's a place to mark gifts and occasions that are coming up for that month. There's a monthly reflection box that you can add a few note lines where I put my word of the year there. And then, your typical run-of-the-mill calendar spread with the next month down below. I went ahead and marked these, and you're going to see this because for me, this was one, a way to add color, but more importantly, this was a way for me to mark my months. So I just, while sitting down watching a TV show or movie, I just put some washi tape on the edges so that is my January, and then I know where to start my February, because I know me, and I know that as I get going through the year, when I need to flip back to something, I just don't want to waste the time of trying to search and flip through to find where February was, and I don't want to keep a marker on it either. So this is a non-clunky way for me to mark my months and easily visually go back to them. So you have your monthly spread, and then the very next page is your weekly overview. And I tell you, this is awesome. This really gets you into the workhorse mode of your week. And to me, this is an amazing component of this planner. With your weekly overview, you have a box for listing this week's priorities, those things that absolutely have to get done. There's a list for weekly goals. And again, the very first line in very nice, gentle gray is add repeating weekly goals. I wrote over that one. But then there's also do something for others, do something for yourself. There's a list of things to do here, this side being easy tasks and this side being bigger tasks. And I love this because, let's be honest, when you tap into trying to accomplish some of those goals that you set forward, some of the things are very easy and we tend to check that off of our list. But some things have to be broken down and they have to be chunked up, those goals that are just really big to stare at and seem overwhelming. So you need to take them into smaller steps. Or even if they're just big tasks that you're facing in the week, you can add them over here. So you have a mental delineation between the two. So if you have just a few minutes of time that you can make a phone call and you can look over at this spread and it'll prompt you visually what you can get tick off in a few minute section. Or if you have more time that you see or designate in your week, you can go through this list. And then down below, there's a habit tracker, which I also love because I try to incorporate that in my bullet journal as well, trying to incorporate some of these goals that I set for myself at the beginning into this space. So I would add, and then also just some good habits that I need to set up. I would more often than not get to the middle of, or the end of my day actually, and realize I forgot to take pills during the day that I need to take then because they interact with my pill I have to take at night. So this is a nice way for me to track and make sure that I'm doing some of the things I need to be doing. Bible study is important to me, even though I didn't mark it, but at least it's a visual. So even if I don't, I give myself a pass. If I don't come back and mark these bubbles, I know that when I'm in my planner every day, I'm looking at these things that I need to be doing. Just because I don't mark the bubbles doesn't mean I necessarily did not do it. Sometimes it does, but and then over here, this other part of the spread is just for anything. It's for breaking down goals and projects, journaling, or additional weekly reflection. This bottom half is a very soft dot grid, and the top half is lines, and it's just it's great. I haven't used this consistently, but that's not because I don't like it. I'm still acclimating myself to this planner, but I love this idea because sometimes you just need to be able to write out what you need to write out, or plan something with more detail or something that's more involved. And then we come to the weekly spread, and this is what we're looking at. Over on this side, we have a small don't forget box and the longer notes box. And then each day has a breakup of 3 dots where you can put your 3 priorities for that day. You can put whatever you want to mark that you need to highlight up here. And then you've got your daily section where I just go through and make my little check boxes of the things that I need to get done. And then I love this because I also did this in my bullet journal. The bottom portion is for gratitude, to mark things that you're grateful for, to be intentional, to be observant of your life. And I love that. So I try to use it. I'm not always consistent with it, but I do try to fill it in as I think through my week. Up top on this side is a weekly reflection. So I put quotes in here from books that I've been reading recently, things that really resonated with me. And then we have the light gray weekend that's over here. Same format, very simple, very clean, actually very minimalist. I just go to town on my spreads, so it becomes minimalist by the time I'm done. Let me see. There's a couple weeks that I failed miserably. Let me show you a blank week. So you get an idea of how clean and non-frenetic the spread is. I make it pretty frenetic, but I also expect my planner to be a workhorse. I need it to do all the things that my brain needs it to do, including be a second brain. But this is awesome. If you are a minimalist, this is perfect for you. You can keep it this nice and clean, or you can color code your events. I've tried several different things. And the reason why I've spent 3 months in this planner before just diving in and giving a review of it is because I really wanted to see how it works. I wanted to see the function of it in real life. And before I commit to trying to give a review. And I have to say, I love it. I really, really love it. It really helps me. So here I am at the end of March, and I find myself, maybe for the first time ever, going back to those lofty goals that I set at the beginning of the year and making sure I'm pulling from that section into this section. And I love that. I like color, so I've added, in some weeks, I've added stickers just to kind of bling it up a little bit or give some pop of color. But there are other weeks when I was pressed for time, stickers was not a priority. And so I either color coded, I tried that a little bit and wasn't sure if I liked that because it seemed kind of high maintenance. And then other weeks where I was glad to get my tasks on the plan. I had pre-stickered prior to. Sometimes I've used, like this week, I used this page, this weekly overview page for notes. I was watching a YouTube video and they had some steps on just some advice, and so I wrote those steps down here. So that's nice because I can refer to that as my, it's on my February 25th to March 3rd spread if I ever need to go back and refer to those notes. Let's see. Oh, I also turn my note section oftentimes into prayer lists. Sometimes I will also, let's see. Sometimes I need that space for notes or just little reminders, and so I like bills. Sometimes I've listed bills for that week and my prayers, so I've split that space into two. So it just depends. I've also been experimenting with, and I actually really like it because, again, I used to do this in my bullet journal, list out my dinner plans, my menu plan. And so I have reserved that I've now, as I've worked through these months, I have reserved that last box or that last bubble at the top 3 for dinner. So mentally now I know where to look. What did I plan for dinner that night? So it's already there when I leave my planner open for that week. Let's see what else there is. So we've got nice, simple spreads. It obviously goes through the year. The very end of the book, there's an end of the year reflection, which I'm super excited to get to. It's what are your favorite moments from 2019? What were your biggest achievements this year? Rate how you feel you're doing in these following areas, the very areas they asked you to rate yourself going into the new year. What goals did you not achieve and why? What especially challenged you in 2019? How did you grow? Lessons learned. Looking back on the year, what are you most grateful for? What are your key takeaways for next year? I love that. And I'll show you in a minute because they also have a mid-year reflection. But the last half of the book, so there's probably maybe 5-6 pages of maybe 8 pages of lined notes. And then there's maybe another 5-6 pages of dot grid notes that you can use. So I have color coded through May, my tabs, my edges. So I'm going to take us to, or almost through May. I'm not quite done. See, I've gone through and I stickered when I had a little bit of extra time at the beginning of the year because I knew sometimes I would not get to it. And I like to see a little pop of color, not just gray, black, and white, even though that's very pretty in its simplicity as well. So we get to June and we hit this, and I think this is just so genius of the Unbound Planner company. They have a mid-year reflection, so it's a perfect time to see how you are doing. They ask you to fill in the pie chart with how you're currently spending your time. And remember, they asked you to do that at the beginning of the year as well. They ask, how do you feel about the progress you've made with your goals? Have any of the goals changed? What do you consider your biggest accomplishments so far this year are? What areas need the most attention and work? What are some of your favorite moments or memories so far this year? Name at least 3 things you want to let go of. Oh my goodness, amen. That is exactly what I need reminding of all the time. I pick up stuff that is just not mine or for me a lot. So that I'm excited that that's there. What goals do you want to focus on for the second half of the year? What challenges will you have to overcome and how will you do it? And I love that. It like resets. It gives you like a January start, that fresh feel once again. Even if you've blown it in these previous months, it gives you a reset. And I love that. I love the mentality of that. For someone who beats themselves up internally a lot, I feel like that's going to be a nice change of pace that's going to help me refocus my thoughts to more positive thoughts for the goals that I feel like I failed on so far. And I have to say, I just really love this planner. It's brilliant in its simplicity. It's brilliant in its design. It is perfect for someone who is transitioning out of bullet journaling, in my opinion. I have found the transition to this very easy. And that was another reason why I waited to give this review, because I just wasn't convinced I was going to make this transition well after 5 years of bullet journaling. And so far I have. And let me just say, I'm not a bullet journaler who, I use that as a workhorse too. It wasn't so much for decoration. This is something that I've kind of learned to do over time to just add a few pops of color, but I still use my bullet journal as a heavy workhorse. And I love this allows for that as well. I would recommend the Unbound Planner for students. I think that it would be an excellent resource for them to not only track their day-to-day activity for their assignments, but also to incorporate some of the goal planning. If that is something that you're interested in, if it's not merely just a calendaring system, but something that helps move you forward and encourage you to move forward, highly recommend the Unbound Planner. I think it's great. If you were a bullet journaler and looking to transition into something that is already pre-set up for you, I think Unbound Planner is perfect for you. Whether you are a housewife, whether you are self-employed, whether you are, work outside the home mom, I think even as a male, this is great. It is not so feminine as you would see most planners out there, that you could not use this and feel and not feel awkward. Let's say that. I think this is excellent for a man. keeping it just very simple or very non-flowery, if that's what you desire. So I really think it's universal for a lot of people. I purchased a little pen holder from Hobby Lobby that fit perfectly onto this size planner. This planner that I got is the standard color. It is a navy blue. I believe it's also in black. And it was, I believe, $40 plus shipping or with free shipping. And then they also offered multiple colors, beautiful colors, some forest green, a maroon, I think a lavender. There were several other colors, specialty colors that were just $5 more. And because I wasn't sure if I was going to stick with this planner or not, and I was super nervous about ordering it and transitioning from bullet journaling, I just went with the standard navy blue. And I have to say, I'm not disappointed. It's beautiful. It's classic. I am an avid reader, so it looks like a book, which makes me happy. And you can't go wrong with it. So I highly, highly recommend Unbound Planner. It is a new company out there in a world of planners, but I hope they don't get lost in the shuffle, because I think I have found my planner for good. One of the other things that might mean something to you, I enjoy having ribbons as bookmarks, and Unbound Planner has given you 2 to mark different points in your planner as you see fit. I also use outside marker or bookmarks as well to help me remember to. This one is specifically for my goals up here. So something to keep in mind. If you're into ribbons, some people aren't. If they like to have their planners with established ribbons, there you go. And if not, you could probably cut them off and be fine. I like mine, so mine stayed. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, and by all means, share and subscribe. Thanks so much.